can have it. Break, 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 break. Break, 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 break. I'm breaking the limitations of my life.
All right. Hello, hello, everyone. I hope all is well. I believe I'm officially live on social media. It is your girl, ChesZ, aka the pretty producer, aka the singing scholar. I know it's been a while since I've been doing videos across the board on the social media. I miss you guys, and I hope that you miss me too. The purpose of this particular time live, this is not a speak life, and so this is also linked to my updates. So as you probably see, the title is about updates and a personal lesson or testimony. I like to make things personable. I believe that personal examples are really like the best way to get a message across, for the most part. And so, first and foremost, I want to just hope that all is well, no matter where you are in the world, and speak life. So, in case some of you may not know me, because I know that lately there have been some new people that have been I've been encountering and coming across social media. So it's a pleasure to meet you. Speak Life is basically when I would typically come on once a week and we would talk about real life topics from a down to earth perspective. The goal is to leave you with encouragement. So I haven't done that for a while, but once in a while I've been, kind of popping up online doing a video. And as some of you know, especially with Facebook, particularly, it doesn't stay online, the lives. After 30 days, I believe the video is deleted. But the good news is that if you are on YouTube and I believe LinkedIn, they do stay indefinitely, those videos that are recorded live. So, getting to the point of things, I wanted to first start out with some updates because there are going to be some changes when it comes to my social media. So, some of you may be starting to realize, like, little differences here and there. So there will be some changes because I'm really in the midst of revamping some things and kind of going through this whole, rebranding and things of that sort. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So if you start seeing differences and changes, that's exactly what's going on. And another update is I have been doing inspirational emails. I send them out every Sunday or sometimes a Monday or Tuesday, just depending if I need to think of a certain theme for that week. I've been doing this, guys, faithfully for, I want to say, 7 years, faithfully, like sending an email every week, faithfully, not pre generating them, literally writing them as I am led to speak a certain type of inspiration and things of that sort. So, one of the updates with that is this will be the last month I'm going to be doing it temporarily. It's not going to be discarded completely, but I'm going to send out an email today. So some of you probably were expecting to see it on Sunday, and there's some themes that I wanted to just make sure I put into place for this particular month. And after this month, I'm going to temporarily stop the emails. Why am I stopping the emails? Well, you know what? This has to do with the personal testimony that I would like to share. So I'm learning that, when we go through different phases of life, there has to be something what we call transformation. And transformation is basically, very simply said, it's just being changed from the inside out, starting from within and then going on the outside. And so, as I have experienced this personal journey of transformation, especially this year particularly, there have been so many changes that I have experienced where I want to bring about things that are new. I want to change the direction of some of the things that I have done in the past. And I want to be able to be a little bit more specific with my inspiration and the things that I want to share with others. And so, as I pause these particular emails and as I'm changing some of my social media, one of the lessons I've learned with this being changed from within and on the outside is that I need to make sure that I'm speaking to the right audience. And I think that someone out there, if you're hearing this, you would be able to take this for your own personal understanding as well. Is that biggest reality is that we all don't have the same audiences. we all are not here to speak to everyone. Everyone is not always going to really be inclined to hear what you have to say or hear what you're sharing or to buy your product or to listen to your music, for example, or whatever the case is. But we all have audiences. And I feel like sometimes, when it comes to transformation, transformation is really embarking on a journey where you're willing to undergo discipline, you're willing to undergo changes that are not always sweet. Changes are not always sweet. Some changes will hurt. Some changes will be uncomfortable because they're new. Some changes will be where you have to do away with some things that are old, do away with things that don't serve anymore. And so I'm not saying that my emails don't serve anything. I'm just saying, like, I'm revamping the impact that I would need to make with when it comes to certain messages or emails or how I present myself and things of that sort. And so one of the personal lessons that I've learned with transformation was doing away and cutting away a lot of things that would offer distraction, or, understanding that your identity is not planted in someone else's opinion. Your identity is not planted in what you were once good at or what you once did, but it starts from within. And so everything that I do, especially even the more going forward, is with the music, being able to express identity and inspiration through music, speaking life through music, reminding you that you can make it through music. And also just by way of our conversations through Speak Life, if we're speaking with real life topics, right? In a down to earth perspective. My expectation is that the audience that I'm speaking to, you're going to be transformed. You're going to start to think a little differently. I've always been a person to promote critical thinking because I feel like that's something that's lacking a little hard these days. And so I'm pro like, put on your thinking cap. Let's think about this. Let's spread this out a little bit and see it from a different perspective, because these things could be done in very creative ways. And so with that being said, I am thankful, for those of you who have taken the time to even be of support. I thank you for those who are sending me messages. I appreciate it. Please forgive me. I'm a little behind on messages, especially on social media, particularly. But I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot this particular year where that transformation comes with discipline. And that's what I wanted to talk about. And this is linked to even the preview of this single, Break. Break, 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 because we're going to be breaking the limitations off our lives. So the release date is to be determined. I'll let you guys know when the single is going to be officially released. But why breaking the limitations off of our lives? And what does that have to do with transformation? Oh, it has a lot. In order for you to be able to get into a place to say that I don't want this anymore, or enough is enough, or maybe you feel stuck, maybe you feel stagnant, maybe you feel that you're kind of going around in circles, or you feel that, what is life about? Or why do I feel like I can't go beyond a certain point? And so I just want to share my personal journey this year, where I have learned that in order to embark on discipline, it's not fun. Most people don't want any form of discipline. They just want everything to just be fine. And I'm not saying that we can't live fine lives. I'm thankful because I do believe I'm living a really great life, but I want to be transparent with that transformation to say, in order to live a certain type of life, it does come with sacrifice. It does come with, tears. It does come with a lot of hard work, or it comes with like separating from things. And so throughout this year, I started separating from different things. I started doing an inventory check in my life to see, where am I wasting time? Where am I, kind of running on E? Or what is it that I need to reinvest in? And what is it that I need to work on? Because, I have to use social media as a very, very real example. Social media will have so many people, based on my observations, thinking that life is just so glamorous. It's such a shortcut. You're never going to hurt. You're never going to go through this. You're never going to go through that. And the truth of the matter is, true change is also transparent. I'm not encouraging you to go online and share like all your, weaknesses and flaws and things of that sort. But what I'm saying is that when I went through my whole transformation throughout this entire year, I actually took time to sit back to think about what are my weaknesses? What are things that I can aim to strengthen? What are things that I need to become better at? How can I be more humble? A lot of people don't use that term these days because humility is not always projected, especially through social media, right? Social media is always about, like, look at me, look what I'm doing, and blah, blah, blah. And the list can keep going on. And I said, well, for me, when it comes to change, I don't want that to be my portion. Because if I'm singing a song, or if I'm posting something, or if I'm sending you encouragement, I want you to hear that from a very sincere place from my heart, not pride, not because, oh, look at me, but no, look at how we can change if we're willing to change. And so, I'll use another transformation example in my personal journey. So last year, I was at a certain weight, literally like physical weight. I know sometimes people are like, "Well, I didn't really see you, lose weight per se," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I kind of know my angles." So, but I was at a certain weight in August of 2025, and I'm sharing this for transformation for a reason. And so, like, I was at a point where personally, I said, I don't want to be this size. It had nothing to do with how I physically look. I just want to say, I thank God I'm very confident in how I look. That's not an issue for me personally. But one thing I was very concerned about, and this is what I mean by the change from the inside out, I said that preventative. I thank God I didn't have any health issues. I'm so, so thankful. But I said preventative. Must we wait for a problem to occur to start to say that we want change? A lot of people are not prepared to think that way. Sometimes it's like we wait to the last minute to say I have to change. And I want to encourage someone out there, don't wait to the last minute. So with that weight loss side journey that I took, it was very natural. I didn't do anything, I didn't take any pills. I don't know what this stuff is called, Ozempic or something. I didn't do none of that stuff. Uh with all due respect, I don't do vegan, none of that stuff. I ate meat, I drank milk, things like that. So I did things normally for me, but it was a journey of recognizing that I'm intentional about wanting to change from the inside out, not for physical looks, but more so for, can I be healthy from the inside out? Can I speak with confidence about being transformed and what it means to be changed? And so I'm very thankful because now marks a year that I've been able to manage a certain amount of pounds. What does this have to do with breaking limitations? Well, sometimes too, in our minds, we can think that things are impossible, or we're looking at social media to think that things have to be immediate. I mean, you look at a 15-second video, you look at a 30-second video, you look at a LinkedIn post that most people let me not say most people, I don't want to put people on blast, but these AI generated, wonderful testimonies and stories and stuff like that. And, they make it seem like it's just so easy. But what I have found, even like in that weight loss example, is that every day I had to choose. And even when I ate something and then I, didn't lose weight that week or whatever the case is, I couldn't really afford to have the time to be discouraged because does discouragement come? Yes, it comes, but don't stay. So it may not be a weight loss example for you, but I'm talking about generally speaking. If something is not working out favorably, do not leave. Don't be so quick to leave. Don't be so quick to rush a certain type of process. And so each day I was choosing. And I chose quietly. I didn't really, talk about it to people and stuff like that. It's not everybody's business. And that's another thing too about transformation and discipline. It's not everybody's business. So I had to learn, like, I can announce some things here and there, but I have to know when to announce it. And that's again where we struggle sometimes, right, with social media, because I feel the need to stay on social media for people, where you think that you have to make this announcement, that you've got to make it known. You don't have to make everything known. You don't. And you don't lose out by not making everything known. If anything, you gain a lot because that gives you a chance to sometimes, again, reevaluate where you are, and also to be at a position to understand that you can think for yourself. Because sometimes, too, when you're going through, any phase of transformation, whatever that looks like, you will begin to question yourself. That's very normal. You'll begin to wonder, are certain processes worth it? So going back to this weight loss, very briefly speaking, I started out losing a pound, right? And I was like, oh, okay, a pound. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, big deal, a pound. No, it's a big deal. A pound is a big deal because guess what? That pound happened 36 times. It happened 36 times, which got to a point of 36 pounds total. So, you know what I mean? And looking at other parts of our lives as examples, again, it doesn't have to be about a physical weight loss. But I'm also being very transparent now with my journey of this discipline because I also had to recognize that you have to be speaking to the right audience. Everybody has an audience. I don't know if you're like in business or if you are someone who's on social media or if you're into whatever, it doesn't matter the industry. Whatever you're doing, you have an audience, and that audience is going to be blessed. They're going to be touched by the things that you have to share, that you have to sell, that you have to display, etc. And so what I have learned is that I started filtering out the fact that I'm not supposed to speak to everybody. I'm not supposed to sing to everybody. My music is not for everybody. My words of life or things that I want to encourage people about, it will touch those that need to be touched. And so when you can get really, really solid in that, you start to literally have this transformation from the inside out because you begin to recognize that you can't be bothered or moved by every little thing. Now, here's the thing. I don't know why am I touching on this, but when it comes to let's take social media again, and you have this whole thing about content creators, right? Everybody tends to do the same thing over and over, the trends, right? You see a popular trend, it suddenly just pops up and you're like, "Oh, let me do that so I can make some money. Or let me do that so I can go viral." And someone told me the other day, like, "Oh, in order for you to do this or do that, you have to do this to become viral first." And I was thinking to myself, because mind you, I'm pro transformation here, and I'm thinking that, just because you follow a trend doesn't mean you're going to stay relevant. If your goal is just to become, I don't know, famous for 15 minutes or whatever the case is, or have someone replaying something that you posted, fine, if that's your choice. But I'm talking about quality of discipline and change, where if you want something to last, sometimes you may have to sit back. You may have to step out of the typical. You may have to step out of the grain. You may have to step out of the trend to see what is the original strategy for you. What does that look like for you in your life? And again, if you can catch what I'm saying, I'm using these as examples, but they don't have to be your example. You can think about how does it personally relate to your life, your business, whatever. How does it relate to your relationships, how you relate to people? So that was another thing for this transformation journey that I've learned throughout the years is that things change, people change, seasons change. And depending on how hungry you are for discipline, depending on how hungry you are for transformation, you're willing to do what you have to do. And if that involves change, it involves change. So I encourage you out there to welcome change in your life. This is how it's tied to breaking the limitations off of our lives. And in this song that I wrote, it's basically saying, um, leave the past, stand in the present, look to the future. I can have it. And if you keep that type of mindset in any avenue or direction in your life, I promise you that you're going to be well. Because if we're taking too many looks to the past, if we're trying to, over figure out this, or we're trying to, again, follow trends, because popularity doesn't always mean stability. Popularity doesn't always mean that you're going to win. So check yourself, especially since we're getting towards the end of the year. Think about how you want to break off certain types of limitations off of your life, because when we get to the end of the year, my personal goal is that I don't want people to wait until last minute. Remember, I used the weight loss example when I said I was losing weight not because I was sick, and I thank God again, but I did it because of preventative. So don't wait to the last part of the year to start saying I need to change this or I want to change that, because another thing I've learned through this transformation stuff, talk is good, right? It sounds nice. But if your talk is not adding up with the walk, if it's not adding up with the action, what is that about? What is it worth? What does it profit you? So we sometimes we have to really get into that mode of saying, no, I need to stay on track. And another thing I've learned too throughout my transparency is that you need community, and your community should be diverse. Okay. Your community needs to have things that you can gain from and you give to them. So when you think about it from that perspective, I know we live in a world where it seems like everybody's so pro solo. Everybody's solo, solo, solo. And I just want to come and remind you that not everybody thinks that way. So if you're in a position right now where you're like you desire community, I think one of the greatest ways we can do that is to show ourselves to be friendly. Show yourself to be friendly. Show yourself to be willing and open, and you'll be surprised at other people that want to do the same thing, despite of, like I said, what we see, you know. So I hope that this particular segment encourages you. As I mentioned, Speak Life will return sometime in the fall. I'll have those specific dates for you guys, and I will continue to post some of the preview for this particular single break. I am excited about it. I will tell you about that release date at a later point in time. And as always, if you have any like questions, or if you have comments or things like that, please don't hesitate to inbox me. I know that some of you on YouTube, you probably wouldn't know, like, okay, how do I inbox on YouTube? There is no inbox, obviously, on YouTube, but my name is there. So you can look it up on social media, the other ones like Facebook, things like that. And you can send me a message there. I'll be more than happy to answer. So I'm going to go now, but I do hope that you will stay encouraged. I really, really mean well with the things that I say. I'm just not, I wouldn't be comfortable, doing the things that I do if I wasn't walking the walk. So that's what this real transformation means. This is what it really means to break limitations off of our lives. Breaking a limitation off of being maybe intimidated, or being doubtful, or being fearful, whatever those feelings that you may have. My hope is that these things will be broken as you continue to walk in that confidence and knowing that discipline is a part of the real process of transformation. So this is your girl ChesZ, aka the pretty producer, aka the singing scholar. I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. And I'm just gonna close out with this preview. If you have not heard the singles, I hope you're just as exciting as I am. So here it is, and I will talk to you guys soon, okay?
Stand in the present, look to the future. I can have it. Break, 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 break. I'm breaking the limitations of my life. Stand in the present, look to the future. I can have